Hello, everyone. My name is Heather Hurt with the NRW, where nerds rule the world, and I am here with two women that have every reason to be a little bit ragey at this time. I'm with writer Chrissy Williams and artist Lauren Wright, who created the book Golden Rage, excuse me, from Image Comics. How are you two today?
Good.
Full.
Great.
Good.
I'm full of anger, but that's just to be on brand. I've actually had a lovely day.
Oh, perfect. I mean, we are people with vaginas, no matter what type of gender you are. You have every reason to be angry in many places across the globe right now. But try to do our best where we can. Thank you, ladies, for joining me today. Your book, Golden Rage, is now out in trade paperback. How are y'all feeling going as y'all are starting the promotion for the new part, Golden Rage, Mother Knows Best? Christy, I'll start with you.
I think daunted as ever because enjoying the writing side doesn't necessarily mean that I am good at the promotion side, and also add in some extra like British for fun, and it's a bit of a daunting process, but at the same time excited because we get to share more Golden Rage with people, and we've had so much fun going back to those characters again that I'm just really excited that there's going to be more of it out in the world again.
Perfect. Lauren, how about you? How are you feeling?
Oh yeah, I just echo Chrissy's sentiments about being apprehensive and scared. No one's going to read our book, but I'm very excited for people to see what we've been cooking up for this past year.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a really fun series. Once again, the first arc, Golden Rage, was a 4-part miniseries, and a lot of fun. It talks about some very timely pieces, especially for those of us in the US. It's colored very specifically. So let's talk a little bit about the context of the story before we talk about the new one. Y'all picked several things that daunt people with vaginas very frequently: early menopause, the loss of a child, the inability to have children, being queer in a very aggressively negative community. So why did y'all want to attack all of these subjects in this originally miniseries, and now y'all are going to create another one? Why did y'all want to attack all these subjects? Lauren, if that's okay, I'll start with you.
I think I could just sum up in saying that someone has to. So I think that me and Chrissy were both well placed to discuss these issues. And you don't see a lot of it in media these days. It's sort of the elephant in the room, some of these aspects that we're putting the spotlight on. So
absolutely. Chrissy, I'm gonna adjust the question just a little bit as I shift it over to you. As Lauren was saying, a lot of these concepts, it's not that we don't talk about it, it's just we don't talk about it enough in public spaces across everybody. It's something that women, non-binary people, people everywhere in between, we do talk, we just don't talk about it to everybody. So Chrissy, why did you want to make it so public?
I think because that's the reality that we're all living all of the time. It's all you list off a bunch of the different things that come up in the book, and it's not as if I'm willfully trying to be kind of intersectionally solving all menopause and infertility problems, but all of those things are always happening to all of us and our friends and our family all of the time, and they intersect in real life. Anyway, and so it seems like you can't write a story about a community of not men on an island without trying to talk about all of this stuff. It's not really like it's, I would say, tackling the issues so much as just those issues are there as they are in real life all the time, and everyone's dealing with different things in their own way and just trying to support each other and stab each other with machetes sometimes.
Just for a quick statement on that, for those of you who aren't in the Image PR emails, if you're not a comic book retailer or you're not a comic book critic, the email that we got literally just said Squid Games meets The Handmaid's Tale. That's the entire subject line. If y'all have never read this series, it is really, really fun. It is exactly that. And I would like to actually touch on some of that blood and gore. It's not like this story is really, really gory or anything like that. But the scenes can really jump from a very soft sweetness, with chickens and the love of cats, to really, really violent very quickly. Lauren, how did you tackle some of those art pieces? And of course, alongside your colorist.
I think for me, it's the characters. You've got the softer scenes, as you mentioned, with the chickens, and that's all Lottie and Caroline, and everything's all nice and soft with them. And then we juxtapose it with chopping up wood with axes being flung around with Red, who is probably my favorite character, who's quite unstable at times. So I think just the characters for me are what helped me switch between the softer moments and the more violent aspects.
Did you have, when you were first reading, I know that y'all created this together. This is y'all's book, creator owned, is a collaborative effort. But when y'all were talking about these characters, especially with someone like Red or someone like Jay, who did you have in your head when you were creating these characters on page?
Me first, from an art side, yeah.
From an artistic level.
I think for Red, I probably had like an idea of my sister in my head, who is gets things done, as in she works for like a really powerful car company and controls millions of pounds at all times. So I had her in my head basically because she could be quite psychotic when she needs something done.
So it was personal. That's great. That's wonderful. Yeah. Chrissy, what about you? There's one of the great things about the first arc, and now we'll switch a little bit over into the new arc, was it was a very people-driven. Once again, we all did tackle certain topics, but it was mostly what was going on to the characters, because the characters were the main piece. So the first arc was very character-driven. Who are these people? And as we move into the second arc, it's more what they can do at a community level. So why kind of go make the first piece so character-driven?
I think for me, that's just the most interesting thing. I sort of describe it as, come for the action, stay for the long conversations about menopause and the clown routine. It's not it's not necessarily a super conventional way of telling a story. Certainly not like an action story, but at the same time, that action is there because fights are real, and but it's there to sort of a bit like, I mean, in terms of what I had in my head at the start of it all was probably the other thing that people have said is the cross between Battle Royale and the Golden Girls, right? So in Battle Royale, what I love about that is not just the gore, the violence, that it's the fact that it takes these teen concerns and presents them through melodrama, but they're real concerns. Like there's real feminine jealousy. There's the concern about who had started her period, who fancies who, all of these things to the death. And so I think that was kind of the starting point. But fundamentally, I find people getting to know each other and us getting to know them far more interesting. So, the action is there as the structure and the way we get through it. But I love character, and I love also working with Lauren. She's so good at the nuances of facial expressions, and she can really sell a kind of sort of moment. And it's a real pleasure to lean into those characters. But I think as much as, we've had a little time skip on before we start the new series, but not too much of a time skip. We didn't want to lose any of the characters, some of them being older in age. We are taking a different starting point. We are no longer starting on an island that is at each other's throats. We are starting from an island that, theoretically at least, is meant to have some sort of community established. But we dig in and see what real life events actually do to wear us down, and how easy it is for us to turn on each other still. And we're still looking at those characters, but we're just putting them under different pressures and seeing how they react. And yeah, whether tea or violence will be the solution to their problems.
Absolutely. It is a very different story. Just starting out. One of the things that was interesting to me for the first arc is that there's not really an origin. This is just there. This has been happening. This has been going on. But by the second arc, what you're seeing, especially Jay, who's the newest to the island, has really just settled in and realized, what the community could be, what it needs to be, and why it shouldn't be, why no one can assume that anyone is useless ever. But let's once again, we do want to kind of shift over into the new arc of Mother Knows Best. Lauren, let's talk about some of the art and how that has changed. In the first one, there was a lot of the way that I was looking at it, and you do have some Tula Latoy covers, but what it was that you had that kind of with Sofie Dodgson, their color scheme was a lot more pastel and a lot more faded back, but in this new arc it seems to be a lot deeper. Why change the art even just slightly from one arc to the next?
I think for me it wasn't even a conscious choice. It's just I think it's 3 years since volume 1 came out or something. I think must be 3 years now. So my art has just changed anyway. I've just developed as an artist. So I think I have been incorporating more shadows into scenes that are more dramatic, just for that sort of feel of things. But I think a lot of what Sofie does is just elevates it off the page anyway, beyond what I could achieve by myself.
Absolutely. Colorist, for when y'all are out there, this goes directly to fellow critics. Remember, it's not just the artist and the writer, even though I do have them in the room right now. It is not just the artist and writer that make a comic. Colorists and letterers do unbelievable work that can change the entire dynamic of a comic book. Please make sure you are crediting them, and the editors, of course, looking at Chrissy, who is also the editor.
Well, for this one, because I have edited other comic books, but for this one, because I know how important having an external editor is, we work with a different editor called Jo Gill, who has also been just amazing in the way that she responds to the actual text, brings up different problems, just has a proper dialogue, not just on a character level, but on a flow of page compositional level as well. She's really invaluable. Yes, editors. Whoop.
Absolutely. Comic industry is so much fun. I miss it so much. You have no idea. I miss this. My final big question kind of goes to a world building element, which we could see as you start into the new arc. Once again, with the first arc, it's very people driven. You learn who these women are, you learn who these people are, but we don't really get to see a wider world. But as we go into the second arc, you get to see a little bit more depth into what this community is, how they were impacted by the wider world around them. So as we go into the second arc, are there plans, are there goals to further expand this world that y'all have begun to build? Chrissy, I'll start with you.
So, well, there definitely are more little bits and pieces that we start to pick up about the mainland that they've come from. The mainland that they've come from is fundamentally a horribly sexist, racist, misogynistic shit show of a place. It's the sort of place that throws away its women and casts them out if they can't have babies. It's a horrible place. And I know that there's a very strong school of storytelling that would do, a really nice, neat way of unfolding some more about these characters would be to do some flashbacks. But right now, I'm not interested in showing women being abused and screamed at and shat on. We get enough of that every day. What I'm interested in this story is showing the community of women that are there, and what are their lives like, and what do they do, and what are the problems and the solutions, and how does it work? And for me, that's what the story is, and that's enough. Those women are enough. That's what the story is. and everyone else can. No, I don't want to swear even more. But yeah, I think that's
we're an 18 plus. You're okay. You're okay. So.
Yeah, like that's my starting point. We are interested in the wider world. We know what the wider world is, but the comic is not about that. The comic is about these women and what the fuck happens when you get an island full of women and weapons, and cats and tea and cake. And in the case of the starting point for the new series, like a really hard winter with low supplies and trouble ahead. So yeah.
This, I will say that the comic is very UK coded. It is very, very UK coded. And I was getting certain accents in my head when especially when Lottie talks. I'm like, oh my god, I'll have tea with her any day. Lauren, I'm going to ask you a similar. I'm going to kind of just move off of what Chrissy said to ask you. So if y'all don't build out more than this community, because this is a community y'all want to focus on, if you could go any one direction with this comic going forward, what would you love to draw?
Ooh, I don't know. That's a big question. I'm not sure. We've already had like a little teapot. A husky! Yes, I'll draw a husky. Somehow there's just a husky on the island, probably because it ran away from its owner. I don't know. I've drawn quite a lot of cool stuff, like the clown routine. There's even more crazy. We've got a tradition where issue 4 is just weird. So issue 4 is one to look out for. It's going to be weird again.
Yeah. I'm very excited about issue 4, I have to say.
Me too.
Yeah. Oh, maybe that's why I was only given 1 through 3 from the publisher. I wonder if that's why. For everyone out there, please check out Golden Rage. Once again, it's available on trade paperback at your local comic shop right now. Please go check it out. And Golden Rage, Mother Knows Best. By the way, if you love the Golden Girls, oh my god. I'm so sorry. If you love classic TV, this will just hit you in all the right places. Wow. With that being said, go check out Golden Rage, and Golden Rage Mother Knows Best arrives at your local comic shop on Wednesday, April 9th. Y'all know New Comic Book Day, and y'all know it is always Wednesdays. With that being said, pre-orders are available right now. You can definitely you can talk to any of your local retailers and check out Find My Comic Shop or localcomicshop.com to find your store near you. If the universe wants to find you, where can they find you on the socials and how can they get a hold of you? Lauren, I'll start with you.
I'm on Instagram as labia, and I am on Blue Sky as just Lauren Knight. I'm also on Twitter, but not really.
We don't talk about Twitter.
No.
But if you do, make sure you dead name it because that's the only way they're ever going to learn. Chrissy, what about you?
Yep, same. Blue Sky, Instagram, Chrissy Williams or Chrissy.Williams. But yeah.
Perfect. We will have those handles down below. Thank you all so much. If y'all have any questions, if y'all want to know more, or if you need help finding a local comic shop, please comment below, like, share, subscribe, all those things, and we will talk to y'all soon.
chatting with you. Love to all my nerds who rule the world.
Nerds rule the world.
Yes, we do.
Thanks. Nerds rule the world.
Thank you.
I love the nerds ruling the world, so more power to you.
Patrick, what up, man? And yes, they do. Nerds rule the world, kid.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Awesome. Kuya P, nerds rule the world. Hello.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
Oh,
Nerds rule the world.
I got.
It's in the title of your show, like nerds rule the world. Like I want more black weirdos on screen, and I don't feel like we ever get to see that very much.
Thank you so much. Nerds do rule the world.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, nerds rule.
Love it.
It's your boy Kuya P, nerds rule the world. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you.
Do. They rule the world all right.
Yes. Take care, Tony. Thank you, guys.